Good evening and welcome to our Wednesday live, y'all. It is January 21st, 2026, and we only have a couple of more weeks left of this amazing month of January. Thank you so much for joining me. I am Sonia, host of Prim and Proper Sports, and I hope everyone is doing well tonight. Shout out to Pink Fanford, the realest real creator that I know. That a lot of y'all know. She does all the reels behind the scenes. And shout out to Brian Bistrilla, the production team that he runs with McGrath, guys, streaming network. So shout out to the beats and everything. All right, y'all, this is the time of year everyone has waited for, unless you're my team who has already been eliminated. But it's the most favorite time of the year in NFL because we finally get a chance to see who our Super Bowl contenders will be. And y'all, this is so funny. It is literally going to be Sean versus Mike on both sides of the ball for the AFC and the NFC divisionals that are this weekend on Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Both games will go down this weekend, this Sunday, I should say, beginning of next week. And you do not want to miss out. And in case you've been living under a rock, it's going to be Rams and Seahawks, you guys, the NFC West divisional contenders versus themselves for the NFC title and a chance to go to the Super Bowl 60 on the opposite side, the AFC. It is none other than the number 1 and number 2 seeds, the Denver Broncos, Sean Payton and his Broncos. Broncos making the first Super Bowl appearance since 2015, Super Bowl 50, when they played the Carolina Panthers, and none other than Drake May and the New England Patriots. So shout out to them. It's been a little while for them since they came in. And shout out to all of you guys. Please come on and say hi. I don't have a guest tonight. It's just me. So I'll put your comments on when I see them. Hi, Jeffrey. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for always showing love. You guys make sure you share the live here. Jeffrey, yeah, I know about the Panthers and all that good stuff. And thank you so much to the other platforms, the other pages out there. Keep pounding all of those networks. Truth be told, the NFC pages and various teams that are allowing me to share this live stream. Thank you so very much, and to the UFL leagues out there as well. All right, so this is the opening drive, y'all. Since I'm laying this out this way solo dolo, I'm going to give you guys a guided tour into what tonight's going to be on. In midway, we're going to have a special treat. We're going to be shouting out Pearson Jones, have a special commercial presentation for her. Have your phones on standby because her QR codes will be populated during that time. And you want to make sure, there's been a lot of people wanting to donate to her scholarship drive. That is my niece. So if you are interested in doing so, she thanks you for all your support. No amount's too small. The popcorn drive, she's doing a raffle, everything right now, all that will be populated here at the 9:30 hour. All right. So it's championship week, and those matches are set up. This is a league in transition, though, guys. This is not just about the NFC, AFC matchups. You have to know that it's always something that kind of is in the backdrop. It's always something that lingers, that kind of takes away that shine. One year was Marshawn Lynch hanging up his cleats, and it kind of overshadowed, what was going on with the playoffs. And then it's something else going on here. What's up, Robert? Robert Wardell, always a big supporter of the show. He said, I got Hawks versus Pats. Hawks win Super Bowl. Well, I will actually agree that it's probably going to be the Hawks versus the Pats. And I think the Pats are going to win it. At least, it looks that way. I don't know. Drake May coming in. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. This is his rookie appearance in the Super Bowl. Only 2 seasons in. And let's be clear, guys, even though this is his second year, rookie contracts are for a reason. They're usually like the first 3 to 5 years that are players with a team coming out of college. There's that eligibility period where he is trying to prove himself in the league and to his team. And so Drake May has made huge strides with that Pats offense. And I do want to congratulate Mike Vrabel. I do think he's the coach of the year, you guys, coming from the Titans where he could not tighten up, and literally took the helm of this Patriots team and just went straight all the way to the top. So you have to give him some kudos there. Definitely accolades loading on both sides of that diameter there with the coaching and the player. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But of course, the coaching carousel is what I'm talking about, guys. It looms in the background all the time. This couple of weeks ago, it was a bunch of firings. And I'm going to be honest. Once Harbaugh was fired, I felt like all bets were off. At any given time, we could expect to see any given thing. And that's exactly what has been happening. If you look around the league, everywhere Mike Tomlin decides to step down, or did he? Now, we know Steelers have a habit of not terminating their coaches. Tomlin has been there almost 20 years, 19 years, and they've only had 3 coaches in the last 60 years. So they are loyal to their coaches, and their coaches are loyal to them. But he steps down. As a matter of fact, he was all smiles in Georgia this past weekend at a match, a gymnastics match with his wife. They were cheering on their daughter here. So he was all smiles, already looking great. Don't know just yet if we've seen the last of Mike Tomlin or not. The verdict is still out. Y'all know I like to always say that. He may just need a reprieve. He'd been hinting around about this for the last couple of seasons, and this was just it. So, of course, Steelers got their hiring caps on. Miami ended up firing, McDaniel. He's out there looking for a job. It's literally 10 coaches at this point that were or are still jobless and vacancies. So let's run through those here. Buffalo, the biggest news, guys, since I last saw y'all was, even though Buffalo went all the way up to the pre-AFC divisional, the Bills fired Sean McDermott. Now, to me, that was a shock. Even though I told you guys all bets were off once I saw Harbaugh get fired by the Ravens, I was genuinely shocked about Sean McDermott being terminated. I mean, in my opinion, you got the team almost there. I guess almost doesn't count. But let's be clear, y'all. This was a matchup this year without Lamar Jackson, without Patrick Mahomes, without all the nemesis that everybody knew that Josh Allen faced. And this had to be his year. 5 turnovers, 3 resulting in points during a crucial matchup, literally an emotional postseason conference and camera appearance and all the stuff he's been on social media crying and what have you. And none of that even mattered. Now, I have a theory about it. You can't ever say that you're against the refs in the NFL. You cannot say that. You can't say you're against the league. You can't say any of that. We've seen this over and over, like revisionist history, Colin Kaepernick, the knee thing, all the way up. Everyone starts just getting dropped off. Or even if you're a problem in the locker room, Brandon Marshall, who was with the Jets, who was with the Bears, now he's a commentator. Dez Bryant, known to be just negative. The Cowboys rumoredly blackballed him. Saints picked him up during the practice, during him actually practicing with the team before the season even started. He has an Achilles injury and never comes back as of today in the league. So, Bills, McDermott, in his press conference right after the game, I literally thought it was AI, y'all. He comes out, he talks about the critical turnover, interception, what have you, and he says that it didn't go their way. And he literally comes out and says, I'm riding with the Bills on this. I know it didn't go our way. Like, basically, that shouldn't have happened. Next morning, he's terminated. So in my mind, even though people are saying, hey, it's probably because, the writing was on the wall anyway, I think that may have been a catalyst. Sean McDermott, 9 years with Buffalo, no championship. You guys know the history of the Bills. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, back to back to back to back Super Bowl appearances. Now, you talk about being one and done here every 10 years, every 15 years. I cannot imagine the agony that Bills fans felt after the first time they were disappointed. But the hype that they had to go through to get back that second time, you know how hard it is to go back to the Super Bowl, guys? It's almost like an anomaly for that to even occur. Well, the Bills went 4 times in the 90s. Look it up if you don't know about it, young people. They went, and they are still ringless. All right, so what's up, Steve-O? Yeah, your Niners. We'll talk about them in just a minute. Robert says either the Rams or the Hawks. The AFC does not stand a chance. The NFC Championship winner will be your winner. All right, well, there's some teams out there from the NFC that say they want an NFC representative. I'm one of those that both of those teams tore my team up, and I don't have no time for it. In fact, since Steve-O brought it up, we'll talk about all that in just a minute about the Niners. I don't know. Is Shanahan on the chopping block? Like, how do you gauge who's on the chopping block and who's not? Let's move on, guys. All right. So Buffalo is now in a new era. As I was speaking about them, they had a press conference today with the Bills owner, Terry Pegula, and the general manager, Brandon Beane, and the McDermott fallout. Basically, there was some issues going on with them. It was a January scar is what it's being called. And it was because of the comment regarding the loss in Denver. Josh Allen is going to have to step all the way up next season, but they're actually giving him some vocalness in the next coaching hire. So we'll see. I don't know, guys. I think that window is slowly closing. Every year we want to look at teams and say, oh, no, they'll be back. I don't know how you even figure that. What's up to my brother, Marcus? Hey, Marcus, I almost asked if you're going to be available tonight because your Pats are in it. And I hope you are doing well. He said the Pats will figure out a way. That's his team. That's my brother, my real brother, guys. Love you, bro. Thanks for supporting us always. And what's up, Nikki, Tally Jag, Jayville? They got eliminated right around the time the Panthers did. Duval, their coach got big things popping down there. So you guys will be back. Good evening to you, Nikki. What's up, Yoli? Another playoff contender that was recently eliminated. The Green Bay Packers packed up their lockers the last few days and is out. And what's up, Linda? Hi, everybody coming on tonight. Thank you guys so much. What's up, Pink? I gave you a shout earlier, boo. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So yeah, the Harbor. This is what the trigger for the entire firing. I don't think we've seen this many coaches flying off the shelves like a clearance day. I don't know, at clearance at Walmart. I guess you could say that. Reflecting on what John Harbaugh actually, his official introduction began. So if you haven't heard, the Giants have hired him, guys, to the tune of $100 million, $20 million per year, guys, 5 years. That's what he said he was going for. And the Giants pulled up. In fact, they pulled up so fast. Tennessee was in the process of getting a plane for him. And the Giants just came like in the middle of the night, like, no, we already got your pre-draft here. Go ahead and sign. We'll take an electronic signature until we can meet up with you and you can give us the real thing. So it's solid. He's there. And the Giants will have him as their head coach next season. I'll come back to that in a minute because I want your opinion on if it's going to really be a difference maker his first year. All right, Steeler Nation shock. Mike Tomlin stepping down, 19 seasons. Those are big shoes to fill. Steeler Nation literally have been calling for his departure. I'm going to be honest. I know several fans personally, and they were all like, Mike, you can go ahead and hang it up. You've done well. You didn't do great. We'll see you later. And he left. So now Aaron Rodgers, of course, is talking about making his exit. There are a couple of big players that they're saying may not be coming back because their contracts were up anyway. And they just don't know who's going to be filling those shoes right now. Of course, Arthur Smith's still the OC there. No word on if he's been offered a head coaching position. If you guys don't know who he is, he's the former Falcons head coach. So they're going to be definitely bringing him in there, I guess, as a consult at this point. Yeah, Nikki. Yes. The Jags are definitely getting it done. Biggest come up, getting the coach over there from Tampa Bay to move up, and just Cohen. He brought a lot of stuff to the Jayville. And I really thought you guys were going to go a little further, but hey, there's always next season. Everybody's 0-0 right now. All right, so let's get into some of who to watch out for. Mike McDaniel is still circulating, going around for a job. He was supposed to have spoken with Dan Campbell in Detroit because they go back. They have some history together. They're friends, what have you. Speaking of, let me pull this note up because I want to make sure I get this absolutely correct. The Detroit Lions, guys, who have not been in the playoffs this year. They finished around the same tune that the Panthers did. But last year were 15-2. Really, really, really good team. They go out and They don't even get anybody. They get like nobody whatsoever. They went and got the Cardinals. Oh my goodness, guys. I can't make this stuff up. They went and got the Cardinals for their actual offensive coordinator position. And I have no idea why. It's not going to be advantageous. Danny Smith. Excuse me. Let me back this all the way up. Let me pull you to what the Lions did with this Cardinals person first. So there's a lot that I've got to tell you guys about. Drew Petzing. He was hired from the Cardinals offense to go to Detroit's offense, and he won less games than they did. I do not know why. They said it's a Dan Campbell direct hire. So I don't know. I don't know. In my mind, I feel like with the John Harbaugh firing this season, it's a trigger for next season as well. It's a trickle-down effect. And I feel like Dan Campbell, if he doesn't pull it out some kind of way next season, especially after appointing his own appointment of this offensive coordinator from the Cardinals, he may be the next person that we're talking about is on the chopping block. But that's a year removed, and I just wanted to put that on you guys' radar so that you can know what to be out for. All right. Another person that was moved around that I was shocked about, the Tampa Bay, everybody complained. They cleaned house except for Todd Bowles down in Tampa. So what they did, they got rid of everybody except for him. But they went ahead and brought in Danny Smith as their special teams coordinator from Pittsburgh. I told you guys, once Tomlin stepped down in Pittsburgh, everybody is like clearing out of their players, everything. I don't know what's going to happen, but I bet Steelers fans are frantic right about now. But having this guy as your special teams coordinator is exactly what Tampa Bay needed. Not that I want to boost them up, to be the closer of all those games that they lost this season. Like, they lost several games that came down to special teams plays, and you were just like, what happened? And so get ready for Tampa Bay to try to bounce back at least a little bit before next season with this hire. All right, let me go back to my main little page here that I was talking to you guys about. All right, so once you look for that, and coaching are coming throughout, everybody's getting hired and what have you, the verdict is still out on everybody else. Let's talk about these championship games here. And in about 9 minutes, we will do a pause for the special commercial presentation. Have your phones ready, like I said in the beginning of the show. For the QR codes, they're going to be populating for my niece who's on the scholarship run. Every dollar she gets to keep. And Delta Sigma Theta will match it if she wins the overall contest of raising the most money. Of course, Pearson has committed to UNC Charlotte for the fall. I cannot believe my girl is literally graduating. She's an honors student, and she plays basketball. She's a cheerleader. She just was crowned Miss Homecoming Queen for Southwest Guilford. Very well accomplished, and she is very involved with her church, Sharp Road Church of Christ in Greensboro. So shout out to her. Shout out to her parents, Anissa and JT Jones. And shout out to all of you who have been so supportive to her. So we'll play that commercial here at that 9:30 mark. All right, let's talk about these games, y'all. 3:00, the AFC game kicks off. Your New England Patriots versus their Denver Broncos. The Drake May evolution. This is where it's going to come down to the line where we see Super Bowl caliber Drake May. I am absolutely impressed. He is from the University of Chapel Hill, UNC, just UNC. And he has risen to fame so very quickly. The fact that we're looking for that is going to be pretty big, considering, believe it or not, the Patriots have to travel because Denver got the number 1 seed. And so they're going to Mile High, where the altitude is what? Mile High. So it's going to come down to physicality. You're going to see the oxygen tanks going and what have you. They're literally also traveling by coastal. So that game is kicking off at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be aired on CBS. This is the no Bo reality, discussing the impact of him being out. He had, you know, all the stuff that Denver has gone through. Bo Nix went through his ankle surgery today. Just crucial, crushing for Denver. A lot of us didn't even know that injury had happened. Let me put a pause there and address this comment, and I'll come back. Yeah, Brent, Jim Harbaugh knew Mike McDaniel wasn't a fit, but could score a lot of points for a season and move on. Lions might regret that. Wow, that's big. That's really big. That's big. Yeah, so there's that. But anyway, Bo had this surgery. He said next year when they play a real schedule will be Drake's test. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Robert. A real schedule, because you guys know a lot of these teams did have like not that tough of a schedule. I'm gonna put it out there. The Panthers had one of the most toughest schedules in NFL, and I'm not saying as a fan. I'm saying that because it's been said. So, but anyway, no one saw this injury, y'all. But for this game going into overtime, we probably would still have Bo Nix in the AFC Championship. That's the part that really bothers me the most. But for the overtime, this wasn't even a regulation injury. Most of us didn't even notice it. In fact, when the game wrapped up, it probably was like 4 or 5 minutes. I saw a screenshot that came through and I was like, okay, people are playing too much. This game just ended. And then I Googled it. I didn't see anything. That's how quick it happened. It wasn't on Google. It wasn't on anything. I kept refreshing the page. Had to hop over to Adam Schefter on Instagram, and it was on his page. He was the first to break the news that Sean Payton in his post-game conference had said that Bo Nix broke his ankle in overtime. And so then everybody's watching the replay to see what in the heck happened and when. The adrenaline, everything. He was clearly walking a little gingerly off the field, but it wasn't super noticeable. It wasn't like, okay, this guy's got a broken ankle. It was more like, okay, he might have pulled a muscle. It just wasn't even that noticeable. And so, of course, everybody's watching to see what happened. But yeah, significant break. He's had surgery today. It was successful. And so Denver is going to be relying on whatever the run game they can come up with. That's going to be the difference maker. They are getting in Mac Jones, who has not taken a snap in 3 seasons, y'all. No throwing, no anything, and definitely not in a game that's this big. But for the rest of the Denver offense holding them down, this is a huge blow to Denver. I think a lot of people are already counting them out because of this injury. This is just horrible. And so we wish Bo well. This would have been a debut of both of these rookie quarterbacks. They both came into the league the same year. That's what was really interesting about this. 2 young rookie quarterbacks battling it out for the AFC. So kudos to Denver. Kudos to Sean Payton, who took that team within 3 years to where you see them now. Of course, I'm one of these people do not like personally how he did Russell Wilson. It was very vocal. I know about, maybe you don't want to have this player, but just he was so outwardly disrespectful about it that it made me just have a sour taste in my mouth about it. But this game's going to come down to the wire probably. Hopefully Drake can still play like he's playing, and then I just see it being really, really bad from there. If Denver can't stay in this game, even at home, just get ready for a bad blowout. And I'm thinking that a lot of people are counting Denver out, even though they're the home team. And I may be one of those people as well. I'm looking at the score, probably going to be 34-13, guys. You can go ahead and save that. 34-13 is my prediction. Pats will advance to the Super Bowl. Yeah, Pink Fan First says, hope the Broncos lose. Absolutely. All right. The next game, of course, is the Los Angeles Rams at Seattle Seahawks. And because it's so close to that 30-minute mark for this promo that I'm about to run, I am going to run that promo now real quick. And then I'll be back right after that. All right, guys. So y'all just watch this here. And I'll be back in 1 minute and 20 seconds.
infested, time tested, uncontested. Can't mess with the King of Kings and Lord of Lords when I'm in his presence. The essence of his glory is exemplified in his music. Holy Spirit activate and saturate cause it's fluid. Yeah, within the pressures of life coming steady. We start to struggle with the flesh and the results are deadly. The devil whispers that you'll never measure up in your quest. And guilt can fester in your heart and you forget that you're blessed. You need to know you're not alone. This part of living this life. This world is not our home, just keep up your fight. You win some, you lose some, you live to fight another day like Pops on Friday right before the big fight. Alright, but understand that when you look in the mirror, the God above made you a masterpiece, the vision is clearer, nearer.
All right, and shout out to Chuck, and that's Pearson actually on the tracks with her own song there. It's like that. So thank you so much for your support and good luck to you, Pearson. We'll be running that promo every show that I'm on. So you guys, if you didn't get a chance to look at it in detail, you can always watch the replay and go from there. All right, let's talk about this NFC game, guys. Our division, the Los Angeles Rams versus the Seattle Seahawks. Those guys are in their own division, guys. This is when they are actually playing each other for the third time. And sometimes third times can be the charm. Thank you so much, Pink. She says, congrats, Pearson, on all of your accomplishments. Guys, this is one of those things that it's just like, okay. I never really thought that this game would actually come down to these guys seeing each other for yet another time. I just did not plan on that. I don't know another way to even phrase it. I did not plan on them seeing each other because, of course, hang on, let me make sure my screen is good here. Because the fact that the Rams literally beat us so bad, you know, they beat the Panthers so bad that we want them out. We want them out quicker than a fire gets extinguished. And so I know that, you know, people think it's a hater, whatever. It could be a hater. I'm going to just be a hater. I want the Rams out. They put a video out before our game about snatching hearts. And it just was, they really didn't do all that. We literally lost the game. It was a close game. Vegas was giving us 10 points. I'm just probably not going to get over that. They were giving us a 10-point defeat, and we showed them. So with that being said, I am not confident that the Rams can do anything. And when they lose, Rams fans, if you're watching, because I do have some people I know that are Rams fans, I will be personally applauding. So this is a rivalry match. We said at the beginning of the season, and we're probably midway the season. We said at the beginning, watch out for the NFC West. We knew they had a lot of talent. And mid-season, we were like, hold on, the NFC West is literally the best as far as the best division in the league. And they have proven it. And it is for the NFC divisional, the NFC title. The person goes to Super Bowl. It's the Rams and the Seahawks. Now, after the Rams knocked out the Panthers and then the Bears, it's basically coming out, can they even take care of Seattle at Lumen Field? So that's the thing. Seattle has home field advantage. And y'all know they just came off of a bye. They're chilling. They have that 1 week that was a way back. They needed that and they appreciated that. And so here it is. Now it's their turn. Like you said, Pink, they barely won the last few games, and Atlanta beat them. You know, Atlanta freaking beat them. Y'all are not all that. All right, so it's going to come down to Stafford versus the McDonald defense. It's going to be tactical chess match of the week. You're going to look at these teams. They know each other very well. The momentum has been there between these teams. The rivalry has been there between these teams, and we're going to see it. The sad thing, guys, Seattle just beat the 49ers so bad a couple of weeks ago that they were still bumped up and bruised when they came into this postseason, and they just could not hang. I mean, CMC, Purdy, everybody. We know George Kittle went down. He's out for the season with an Achilles. I mean, it was just game over for them so quick. And so I just hope the same thing happens to the Rams. Of course, 49ers are in the same division with the Seahawks. Now they've been tossed out. It's time for the Rams to definitely get tossed out. That tossed out will make me feel just as good as if the Panthers had won the Super Bowl. That's how thrilled I will be when they get trashed up out of there. And Brent has a good point. Stafford is hated by so many. Of course, former Detroit Lion quarterback, but he's not convinced that Darnold can deliver. And see, that's what it's going to come down to, Brent. Are we going to see Seattle Seahawks Darnold for the duration, or are we going to get glimpses of Jets Darnold, or Carolina's Darnold, or Minnesota's Darnold, or backup QB Darnold? But shout out to him. He did what a lot of quarterbacks don't do. We thought as soon as we saw him fade to the backup role in San Francisco that we had probably seen, or was it the Rams? We thought we'd probably seen the last of Sam Darnold. But then he emerges back out and he's literally leading Seattle to their first post-conference win in a very long time. So all the teams that are on front row for this weekend, they have several years between the last time for playoff positioning. All right, but this is the thing, the injury report. I got to bring y'all the injury report. Key injuries. The Denver and New England game. At today's practice, the Broncos' J.K. Dobbins, he did come back as a limited participant. He's been battling a foot injury. He was limited in practice on today. That's going to be a big boost for the backfield if he plays in the game. Not if. They're definitely trying to push these guys into definitely playing. And for the Patriots, LB, Harold Landry, he's been having some knee issues. And Marty Mapu, the hip injury he was battling, both were DNP today. So they didn't practice. And that is going to show some defensive depth chart concerns on the field for the Patriots. On Seattle's side, for their practice, for that specific game, the NFC matchup, Sam Darnold has been still battling those oblique injuries, but of course he's going to play, but he was limited today in practice. He says he's feeling good, and they're just basically being cautionary at this point. They're just watching his throwing velocity and seeing how that goes. And then the Rams safety, Quentin Lake, is out today with an illness, undisclosed illness. You guys know the flu is running rampant. So he'll probably be playing on game day. It's going to be a game day decision probably. Just a little sniffle, and he'll be okay. Some roster moves that you guys need to know about. And let's be clear, there's going to be some more people that are moved around before kickoff on Sunday. So Friday night with the fellas will be here. We'll be here at 9 p.m. You'll probably have an extensive list of who's in and who's out by that time. That'll probably be materialized so I can finalize that with you guys. There were some big roster moves behind the scenes. I told you guys it's not about just the playoffs this week. It's also about roster moves. Y'all, I don't know what's going on with Stephon Diggs' brother, Trayvon Diggs, but after only playing 2 games, he's now been waived again, this time by the Packers. He cleared the waivers. He was released by the Packers, but we don't know where he's going to go. The corner, I don't know if there's issues beyond the field that we're not seeing, but he's looking for a home right now, guys. So Trayvon Diggs looking for a home. This is the thing right here. Let me plug back in Josh Allen. So apparently it came out that he may be undergoing a foot procedure now that the season is over. This is something that no one's really talked about a lot. And this is a strong possibility now that the season is over with. Josh Allen is contemplating having a foot procedure. No other details right now. They'll probably release those in the coming days. But best of wishes to him as he recovers from that. And Pink says Seattle did what Panthers didn't do in 2023, built around the quarterback. Yep, that's when Sam was with us and we were going through a lot of changes, coaching, ownership, and quarterback, as well as roster changes in Carolina. I hope we finally settled down. All right, so let's look at the 2-minute drill here, guys. This is my Pantherette perspective. The offseason, guys, we're going to look at it. There's a brief look at Carolina, of course, the Panthers' path forward after the wild card exit. I believe we're picking at number 19 in the draft. Number 19, I think, is our draft position. And you just got to look at how everything's playing out. It's just been a lot of moving around. There's a lot of coaches that are still looking for jobs, a lot of players that are moving around, a lot of contracts that are up, negotiations going on here and there. And I do want to plug in this because I want to get your perspective. So, Stephon Diggs, I talked about Trayvon Diggs, his brother. Stephon Diggs, New England Patriots, has this big game coming up. He has an arraignment set for the 23rd, which is Friday, for charges for strangulation, some domestic related type charges, not against Cardi B, but against a female chef that was working with him or for him. And I want to know if you guys think that that's going to be implications for his appearing on Sunday for the playoff game. Now, let me just tell you guys from a legal perspective. No, I'm not a lawyer yet, but I have worked in the courts for a while. An arraignment is just facing your official charges, and at sometimes it's usually a bond hearing if the person has remained in custody. But Stephon Diggs is going to be facing these charges, and it's going to be interesting to see because the league has said, hey, we're on a wait and see right now with what happens with him. I'm wondering if anything happens until after the postseason because they don't want to take a chance of losing your star receiver. I mean, he has this revenge and run. He basically had a solid performance in the divisional win over his former team, the Texans. You guys know he was a Texan. He had 4 passes and 40 yards, which means around 10 yards per carry. And he had a crucial touchdown from Drake May. So we know that Drake targets him quite a bit. That's his right-hand man. They're Batman and Robin. But even though he just secured his 7th career 1,000-yard season, congratulations to him, which means he's fully recovered from the 2024 injury he had. You guys remember he had the ACL tear that ended his stint in Houston. Everybody didn't know if he was going to come back from that. You know, these ACL tears can be tricky. He's been solid with Drake May. He's been a safety blanket, in fact, for him. Someone that Drake can kind of look to from a football perspective, from a sports perspective, and mature with the organization. The thing is, he actually was on social media with a sweatshirt on, a hoodie, go figure, that said, I need a hug. Basically talking about, I guess, hinting around what things were going on. He's now got a civil assault allegation in addition to this whole thing, this cloud. That lawsuit that I told you guys about earlier with the strangulation, domestic stuff. And another thing has been tossed in there, a paternity suit. Go figure. I mean, that happens all the time. He did have a post-game interview this past Sunday where he literally looked like he was in tears, y'all. I mean, he literally said, I've been through a lot. Even just throughout this 1 year, he was like, he's just super thankful it didn't go another way. So I don't know what all that we didn't know, but we just know he still has a lot that he has to deal with. You know, it's just been very, very chaotic. So I don't know, Patriots fans, they're definitely banking on him being there. Definitely need him to be there. And so, you know, it's going to come down to, I don't know what, I don't think it's not like a judge is going to take him into custody or anything like that on Friday. And in fact, I really expect his lawyers to get involved and get it continued to after the Super Bowl and all that stuff. And so that will be important to see because you just don't want that type of attention before such a big game. All right. So let me close out with another legal bit here. You guys know about Antonio Brown. It's just such a fall from grace. I have to just kind of have these segments sometimes when it's just me. And that way I can give y'all like a clear perspective and it's kind of like unfiltered and I don't have anybody like go against me and I just acknowledge your comments, but I still get to say what I want to say. So Antonio Brown, guys, you guys know that he basically has had a court-approved one-time travel window. You guys know he's in custody, or he's out right now with a bunch of stipulations for an attempted unaliving in Florida. He went to Dubai, fled to Dubai. They finally went and got him or whatever. He's self-extradited back. And so he's currently in Tampa, and he's just got permission to leave his Miami house arrest for work. So I guess he's going to be working somewhere. He's actually going to be doing music studio sessions, guys. Can you believe that? So I guess he's pursuing rap now. And he's signed with Energetic Exotic, which is a luxury car rental company out of Miami, that he's doing like some type of spokesman stuff with them. He's currently staying with family in Tampa and a couple of his kids or whatever. And he just finally has a moment of normalcy before everything else goes down with his court case. The clock is ticking, of course. His freedom is going to expire 5 days. He got a very short window to travel. He's legally required to be back in Miami by Monday, January 26th, coming up here. And his next court date is literally that Tuesday, the 27th. And it's going to be regarding that second degree unaliving attempt that came out last May, guys. I still just cannot believe this happened with him after a celebrity boxing match that he was with. But this is going to be really important to look at. A lot of surveillance was called by people's phones. It was like he had no shame whatsoever. But additionally, Florida has the stand your ground law. So that's going to come up as a defense with basically his legal team, who are still pushing the stand your ground narrative, claiming that the victim that he attempted to unalive had a history of threatening him. So he may have a defense, guys, but for him to go from $80 million to a negative net worth is insane. His finances have taken a huge hit. And of course, now that he has an attorney, he's in Chapter 11 bankruptcy that he's filed. And it's just, me as a law student, and then of course having this type of sports channel, I get a chance to kind of hone in on some of the importance of the business of the athlete, basically, like his financial collapse. And you look at that with his peak years in Pittsburgh. Then he went to Tampa and helped Tom Brady out, and they got the Super Bowl. And then it just was all over it. There was at one point when he was in Pittsburgh that Antonio Brown was the highest paid receiver in the league. And so if you look at it now, it's kind of like a survival. He has to come through this and possibly be able to rebrand. I don't know how he's going to do that, but he's a stark reminder of how quick the lights can really go out, y'all. Like, you could be on top of the world with the lights all around you, and then your off-field behavior just permeates onto the field. And next thing you know, it's already bled in so much that nothing on field even matters anymore. And when he left the last time and taking a shirt off during the game and whatever, it was like, wow, it just seems to go wild from that point. But anyway, all right, guys. So that's literally all I have tonight. I appreciate all the likes, love, shares, the comments, the engagement with you guys. You all made this show so much fun. Thank you so much for chiming in with me. Brent, Pink, Nikki, of course, Steve-O was here, Robert Wardell, Linda, Yoli, Tally Jag, Nikki. I appreciate you guys. And Jeffrey, I appreciate all of you all. And for everyone on social media, as well as YouTube and TikTok and all that good stuff, I appreciate you guys so much. On Friday, January 23rd, I'll be dedicating that show to my grandmother, Birdie English. That will be, let's see, this is 11 years since she has transitioned from amongst us. So that show will be starting at 9 p.m. Join me, J Train, and B Strilla. And you never know who else we may have on. Oh, actually, Fern's going to be on this Friday. And we're going to have a special guest from Alabama, y'all. Yes, roll tide. We're going to have an Alabama player joining us on Friday. You do not want to miss that episode. So I hope everyone has an amazing week. Y'all stay warm. It's supposed to be some really bad weather across a lot of the Southeast this weekend with a lot of ice and what have you. But for now, it's all clear skies, just a little chilly temperatures. But with that, I appreciate everybody. This will re-air at 2 a.m. If you missed the beginning, you don't want to miss the replay. Y'all have a blessed night. Good night.